All right, good day everybody. It's Friday morning. I was up last night for quite some time trying to knock out this grid method copying of a cartoon by Kesinger. He's a guy who draws in the style, he's a Disney artist I believe, who draws in the style of Calvin and Hobbes, one of my all-time favorite cartoons, but he takes that style and those characters and applies them to contemporary movies and comic strips and stuff like that. So he uses Star Wars as a lot of his material, as well as Harry Potter and some other things. So anyway, let's get to inking. You can see I've got my drawings side by side there. You can see how I've rounded off the blocking in there, looking at her hair. And so we're ready to ink. So at this point, you no longer need your clear grid. So you can get rid of that if you like. You can keep it on there if you like. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go ahead and use perhaps the cheapest pen available, just to show you that you don't have to have fancy equipment necessarily to ink. I'm going to use the Bic round stick. So let me put this camera on my handy dandy stand and we'll get started. I like to put a couple of sheets of paper underneath the sheet that I'm drawing on, just to soften it a little bit so I'm not on a really hard surface. I hope I can get this in there. I'll tell you what, let's do it like that. All right, a couple of tricks. I like to have a piece of scratch paper around because a ballpoint pen sometimes is going to get a little gooked up with ink. So once you get that ink flowing, we should be good to go. Another thing, I've told you guys this before, I generally pull my lines. I don't go this direction too often. More often than not, I feel more control going this way, and so I'll lift the pen and pull it and lift it and pull it, and I'll pretty much just be making contact with the paper on the pull stroke, though you may not be able to tell that from overhead. You can of course go back and forth if you've got a thicker area. But one thing I want to draw your attention to, and I'll post a slide presentation or something talking about thin and thick lines. For my characters, the line variation is one of the reasons why I like this artist. So I'm going to have some areas where I've got thick lines and others where the lines are kind of thin. So anyway, I'm going to start drawing here. How much pressure you apply to the pen is an important variable. Even though it's just a ballpoint, you can still get a thin or a thick line by pushing hard or not. Another reason I like this artist is his style has a lot of natural kind of flattened straight edges in it. I just kind of like that. Oh, another pro tip, when we're inking these cartoons, we don't want to have finished lines that look like this, that are hairy. We want whatever the line quality is of the character that we're drawing, we want to have a copy of that. So it's probably going to be smooth and even. So here you can see the lines a little thicker, and I'll just start out by doing this all lightly. Another pro tip, if I'm right-handed, work left to right so that as I go across my paper, the ink that I've laid down is not under my hand. If I would start on this side being right-handed and then move my way across my picture like this, my hand is going to come in contact with that ink and it may not be dry and I might get smudges and smears, which we don't want. So let's see, again, keep that scratch paper nearby. You can rub off any little globs that might start to collect on the tip of your pen. You can also put a sheet of paper under your hand like I'm doing, so you're not smudging the pencil as you go. So anyway, this is how you do it. I'm going to try to keep this to 5 minutes. Maybe I'll do another shorter one later just with an update. So I hope you guys are doing well. Work hard on this. We want to finish the inking this week.